Euthanasia is a deliberate act unknown by one person with the intention of ending the life of another person in order to relieve that person's suffering. Imagine being terminally ill. Imagine knowing that your time on earth has almost come to an end. Imagine having to watch someone you love suffer. Watching them turn into someone who can't do anything for themselves. Imagine the pain for the victim and for their loved ones. Sure, we hear about the cons of euthanasia. We hear the terms mercy killings, and euthanasia being a slippery slope, and homicide. And we hear about the rights and sections of the criminal code that protect the lives of citizens. But we need to take a minute to think of those who are suffering. After all, isn't that a human right we have anyways? That no one should suffer or be subjected to torture? In the criminal code, in section 14, it states that no person is entitled to consent to have death inflicted on him, and such a consent does not affect the criminal responsibility of any given person. And in section 241, it says that it is an offense for a person to aid anyone in committing suicide. But what about the human rights that we are given, like the right to life, liberty, and security of a person? We in Canada have the right to do whatever we want with our bodies. We are in control. So if we are suffering with an illness, shouldn't we have the right to do whatever we want and to end our own life on our own terms? Not by any means am I saying that you should be able to end your life if you have the flu, but there are many serious illnesses that could cause long-term effects. No one knows how it feels to suffer unless you are in that situation yourself. Sue Rodriguez was a woman who suffered with Lou Gehrig's disease. This causes you to lose your ability to swallow, speak, walk, or any other forms of movement. Death with this disease usually occurs from a person choking or not being able to breathe anymore on their own. Rodriguez was determined to be able to have the right to participate in assisted suicide. She wanted to decide when it was her time to go. She wanted to have control over when and where her death would take place. She didn't want to die while she can still enjoy life. She wanted to die when she would be incapable of committing suicide unless she was assisted. The Supreme Court of Canada decided that assisted suicide was not okay under any circumstances, and they ruled against her. The courts decided that the right to life takes priority over the rights and security of a person. They also noted that in Section 241 in the Criminal Code, it violated her equality rights. However, it was a justifiable reason. Many would agree in saying that the right to live is way more important than anything, and that people should be thankful to be alive. Even though the courts made their decision and ruled against Rodriguez, she still went on to commit suicide, and she was assisted. However, no one knows to this day who had helped her. This could have been easily resolved. If someone wants to die, they're going to do whatever it takes to follow through with that decision. Wouldn't it be easier if everyone had the option to be assisted with suicide and ending your life if that's what you wished? There are plenty of reasons why someone would rather die before their time, and who would want to be assisted with suicide. Reason number 1. Not allowing these people to have this option is inhumane and unfair, because that means that they have to endure unbearable pain and have to suffer for long periods of time. Another reason is because people don't want to be remembered in this sad and terrible way. They want to die being the person they were. Another reason is simply because we have the right to do this for ourselves. They don't want the right to equality of life. They want the right to liberty so they can induce death. Many would disagree with this being a pro to euthanasia. Some cons are the fact that it is what is to be considered a mercy killing, which is against the law, and the law is there for a reason. Another con that we have is that technology is here to increase the lifespan of people, and we should be doing everything in our power to help save people and keep them around longer. Another con is the fact that someone has to help in assisting with suicides. A lot of doctors wouldn't want to participate and would have to be forced if euthanasia was okay. The effect that this may have on some doctors and medical staff would be a negative one. These are valid points, but it just takes me back to the fact that we need to think of those who are suffering. If they want to end their lives, then they should have the right to do so. They should have the right to be remembered for the person they were before becoming ill. There is a bill, C-407, and it was created so there was structure for euthanasia if it was ever allowed in Canada. It was a structure of requirements that people would have to fulfill. There contained requirements for people wanting to take their lives and for those who are assisting. For those who wanted to take their lives, the rules were they had to be at least 18 years old, they had to be experiencing severe physical or mental pain, they had to be requested twice, and the requests had to happen 10 days apart from each other, and the person who has to have written proof of the request and be designed with respect for the person who is going to aid him or her to die. The assistant has to practice in the medical field, has to be entitled by law to perform the practice, and has to be directed by the individual whose death is being assisted. This sounds pretty fair to me. I truly believe that it is your decision to do whatever you want with your life in your body. If you don't want to suffer, you shouldn't have to. It's time to put yourself in someone else's shoes. What would you do?